Hello, I'm Andy, and we are going to talk about moles, whether black moles or red moles. And if they happen to be on that shaded area under your ring finger, which in astrology is called the sun finger, then these moles in the shaded area will affect your reputation or your progress towards wanting fame or recognition. And they will also bring blame again and again. So your exposure to your risk can come from your communications, how you deal with people, how you make friends or make enemies. Because these molds will also make your personality very arrogant, and they will make you a person who doesn't care for a long relationship as well. So many negative things can happen if you see a red dot or a black dot on that shaded area. Now that line which I've drawn in black and I've marked it as B, that's called the sun line. And if you have a sun line, then firstly, you're going to be very ambitious, you're going to reach for the stars, you'll want to be famous, you'll want recognition, you'll want to be number one in something or another. So it's good to have a sun line. If you don't have a sun line, it doesn't mean you don't have ambition totally, but you will be very happy to be a follower or be in the civil service or be able to take orders from people easily. So a good sun line makes you a person who can strike out in business as well. All right, now, if you happen to have a mole near this line, and if this line is long enough to enter the shaded area, then you be careful that especially from midlife onwards and towards your old age, you're going to have a lot of difficulties regarding your reputation, regarding your eligibility to find success in whatever you do. And these lines on this mount, which we call the mount of sun, that's where I've shaded, it's called the mount of sun. It shows your ability to win some kind of fame and to become famous as well in some area of your life or something that you can do very well. If you find the mole on the sun line itself in this shaded area, that's really bad because it's going to be a direct hit in terms of having a very difficult period. It seems to attack you in the very earlier part until the age of 28 or in the later part from the ages of about 55 onwards up to the ending. I find in my experience that's how it works. Now if you have moles on top of that, on your ring finger, like I've put a red mole on your ring finger, which we call the sun finger in astrology, and if you have a red or a black mole. A red mole always means fever, so it's got to do with health, and it can be to do with your mind, where the fever of the mind can be seen. If it's a black dot, it means many other things, whether you're going to have a happy ending in life, whether you're going to have a happy ending in the morning, in the early period of your life, but there are no such thing as a good mole. So when I see black moles or red moles on the palm, it's always a negative sign. On the face and on your body, it can mean other things. We will talk about that one day. So if you have this kind of a formation which I've described for you, be careful. Now I find that if your sun line has got breaks or islands or waviness, and on top of that, if your sun line, on the sun line you have a mole, or near the sun line there's a mole in the shaded area, then it has weakened your ambitions. I prefer you to be a follower rather than wanting to head anything, because you will attract a lot of blame most of the time. Okay? Well, I'm going to mention some zodiac signs. And with this formation of the line of the sun and with moles in the shaded area, if you happen to be in Aquarius or in Libra or in Aries or in Leo, then especially you will be a person always looking for the limelight, and with these moles on the area that is shaded called the mount of sun, you will be tormented in the sense that blame will come, and when the trouble comes of blame, there can be so much difficulties to all areas of your life. So try to keep a low profile would be better if you have these moles in the shaded area. If you have moles on your fingers And if you are from these zodiac signs, you will also be having trouble of leadership. So you might as well be number 2. You'll be able to control your number 1 that way. Don't try to be number 1 under these zodiac signs especially. Under the other zodiac signs, the problems will be less, much less. They are intensified in these 4 zodiac signs which I mentioned to you. Now regarding health, if you have moles on the shoulder, on the shaded area, or on your fingers, or on the line of sun in the shaded area, then allergies are going to be your main problems. 4 allergies, one of breathing, one of skin, one to your eyes, and the other one to your stomach and intestines is going to be the main problems for you. Also, you may have things like nose bleeding, and so don't go into the sun too much. And you may have some inclination of trouble from a stroke. Nowadays, the best way to check yourself to see if you're okay, you just poke your tongue out in front of a mirror, and if your tongue is right in the center, it's very good. If it's a bit lazy to the left or right, go and get some medical advice immediately. Now the ages I found are always extreme. They can either be very early problems up to the age of 28, or in the older part from the age of 55 onwards, some problems can come if you have these moles. It would be good one day if you can Skype with me. I charge USD 50 for a Skype on doing horoscope, where I will use your date of birth and your time of birth and look at your palms as well. And in those 90 minutes, I will concentrate for the next 5 or 6 years of your life while telling you all about your other areas of health and your personality, where you can improve it, and many, many other things. And so that's only going to cost you USD 50. So send me a message on Skype or a message on Facebook, or email me so that we can get down to it. And if you have the moles that I've just described and shown you on this image of the palm, then I would like to see you one day for a Skype so that I can explain to you what's going to happen. Now, these moles come and go, so keep a lookout on your palms now and then, and you may find suddenly a mole appear somewhere, or a mole may start to weaken. All these are signals of trouble approaching you or trouble leaving you. Well, until then, thank you and good luck.